The interval of the fourth has the same three varieties, or the same three flavors, that the interval of the fifth does: the perfect, the augmented, and the diminished. In fact, the procedure for figuring out the three flavors of the fourth is exactly the same as the procedure for figuring out the three flavors of the fifth. The only difference is in the specific numbers and intervals that we're using, but the procedure is exactly the same. So if we're pretty good at figuring out perfect, augmented, and diminished fifths, we'll be pretty good at figuring out perfect, augmented, and diminished fourths. So there are three kinds of fourths. There is a perfect fourth, there is an augmented fourth, and there is a diminished fourth. I'll just use the abbreviation because we know what those mean now. The perfect fourth is a fourth that has 5 half steps. The diminished fourth is a fourth that has 1 half step less, or 4 half steps. And the augmented fourth is a fourth that has 1 half step more than the perfect fourth, or 6 half steps. So 4 half steps is a diminished fourth, 5 half steps is a perfect fourth, and 6 half steps is an augmented fourth, as long as we have the interval of a fourth. So let's try to figure some of these out. And again, we're going to use the same 2 questions. How many letter names am I traveling? And then how many half steps do I need between those 2 letter names? So let's start with the perfect fourth. Let's try to build a perfect fourth starting on F. So here's F. What is our fourth above F? Or again, how many letter names do we need above F? So we're going to count up a fourth from F, and that is F1, G2, A3, B4. So B is a fourth above F. Okay, so let's check these out at the piano. Here's F, and here's B. Let's count this. F to F sharp is 1. F sharp to G is 2. G to G sharp is 3. G sharp to A is 4. A to A sharp is 5. And A sharp to B is 6. So F to B is 6 half steps, but we only need 4. So how are we going to reduce this interval, or reduce these number of half steps by 1 half step? Well, the easiest way to do that is to bring the B down 1 half step to B flat. There we go. So now let's just double check our work. F to F sharp is 1, F sharp to G 2, G to G sharp 3, G sharp to A 4, A to B flat 5. So perfect fourth with 5 half steps. Again, we need to make sure that we know our interval, how many letter names are we moving, and how many half steps. I'm going to keep repeating those 2 questions over and over and over again. Okay, the diminished fourth. Let's see if we can make a diminished fourth. Let's make a diminished fourth starting on G. Now we know that a diminished fourth is a fourth that has 4 half steps. So again, let's go back and let's answer our 2 questions. How many letter names? Question number 1. How many letter names do I need to travel? I need to travel 4 letter names. So if I'm starting on a G, here we go, I'm going to start on a G. G1, A2, B3, C4. So I know my second note needs to be some kind of a C. Okay, so let's check this out at the piano keyboard. Or how many half steps do we have if we go from G up to C? Okay, so G0, G sharp 1, A 2, A sharp 3, B4, C5. So I have 5 half steps, which by the way would give us a perfect fourth. But we don't want a perfect fourth, we want 4 half steps to make a diminished fourth. So how are we going to do this? Well, let's move the C down 1/2 step. And then we'll have G to G sharp 1, G sharp to A 2, A to A sharp 3, and then A sharp to B 4. So I'm going to write G to B, and we'll have my 4 half steps. So is this a diminished fourth, G to B? No, it is not. Again, why is it not? Because I just rewrote this to be the interval of a third, right? I'm going from G1, A2, B3. So I can't have a third here. I need to keep this. I need to keep the integrity of the fourth. So it needs to be some kind of a G to some kind of a C. So rather than writing that C or moving that C down to B, I'm going to rewrite that C as a C flat. Now we know if I play a C flat on the piano keyboard down here, it's going to look like a B because of that enharmonic relationship between C flat and B. But we're going to think about it and we're going to call it a C flat. That way we're going to preserve the integrity of the fourth, and we'll get to our 4 half steps that we need to create a diminished fourth. Finally, let's take a look at the augmented fourth. We need a fourth with 6 half steps. And let's actually start on E flat. Let's see what happens if we create an augmented fourth on E flat. Okay, so again, we're going to go back to our 2 basic questions. How many letter names do I need to travel, and how many half steps do I need? Everything is always going to come back to those 2 basic questions. All right, so the first question is, how many letter names do I need? I'm going up a fourth from A, so I'm going to start on A, 1, B, 2, C, 3, D. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm starting on E flat. Let's try that again. So I'm going to start on E, and again, remember, we don't care if this is an E flat, an E natural, or an E sharp, as long as it is some kind of an E. So E1, F2, G3, A4. So I'm going to write an A up here. E flat in the bottom, A on the top. So let's go down to the piano and let's check and make sure that this is 6 half steps. Okay. So E flat, and I'm going to end up on A right here. So E flat, 0, E, 1, F, 2, F sharp, 3, G, 4, G sharp, 5, A, 6. And look at that. It actually worked out the first time. This is an augmented fourth. We have a fourth, E to A, but because of the way I placed this on the keyboard, starting with the E flat and going up to the A, it just worked out that this was 6 full half steps. If I wanted to make this augmented fourth into a perfect fourth with just 5 half steps, what would I need to do? Let's find out. I need to bring that A a little bit closer by 1 half step to the E flat. So I'd want to bring that A down 1 half step. So I would make that A into an A flat, and I would have a perfect fourth. So you're going to get a lot of chance to drill both the perfect fifths and the perfect fourths and the diminished fourths and the diminished fifths and the perfect fourths. I'm sorry, the augmented fourths and the augmented fifths. But you can see that this procedure is exactly the same. And again, always come back to the same 2 questions. How many letter names and how many half steps? In the next video, we'll just do a little sort of extra work session just to see if we can give us a little bit more practice just identifying these and making these, just to give us a little bit more of a head start before we jump into this.